so fiberglass. So you say, what do you say? Man, this band is kicking. My goodness. What's next? I wrote this next song. The first song, this was not on the CD, by the way. But it's going to be on the next CD. So the first song we kicked off with was talking about some of the preachers. And I got to thinking, I said, man, I can't just talk about some of those preachers. I grew up during the time period where the preachers were the ones like they were always getting caught on TV, the televangelists. That's why I wrote about that stuff. And that's my generation. But I said, I need to write something from the preacher's point of view today about how a lot of the churches are today. A lot of the churches are just playing around, I guess. They call them apostate churches, what they call them. So I said, well, I have a lot of pastor friends, believe it or not. And I said, you know what, I'm going to write one from their perspective. And this song is called Invite Someone to Church, and it's from the pastor's Preachers in the pulpit, but people think he's full of spit. Still he keeps on preaching on. Doesn't matter what he tries to do, say that he ought to try something new. Someone say anything at all. The church is a bunch of babies, and most are downright lazy. It's always the same people showing up when there's work. A lot of time come lately, giving an offering maybe, and never inviting anyone to church. Well, Brother Johnny needs to talk to him about what Sister Jane did last weekend. Pastor knows just more of the same. He says, Brother Johnny, what would you have me do? Sister Jane came last week, so it's good to bear to say. Church is a bunch of babies, and most are downright lazy. It's always the same people showing up when there's work. A lot of time come lately, giving the offering maybe, never inviting anyone to church. They would just look for good souls in this world. Then they wouldn't have to worry about what's going on inside the church. Just a bunch of babies, and most are downright lazy. And it's always the same one showing up when there's work. A lot of time come lately, to giving the offering. One thing I've learned serving God is that He gives the increase. One plants, one waters, He gives the increase. He's on time, God. Never on my time, but He's on time. But I'm learning. I'm actually learning to wait. In His time, it's hard. Might not be hard for y'all, it's hard for me. But I wrote this song because I'm like, sometimes, are you planting, are you watering? But, God will give the increase, whatever you're doing.
If you haven't listened to HLE radio and figured it out, it's internet, it's online. And the cards on the table tell you how to get to it. If you've got a smartphone or a computer, you can listen to it. I do a morning show every morning from 7 to 9. I'm live on there. And it's me. I'm the most, I say this all the time, I'm the most professional at being unprofessional. Because I just, thank you. You get that. I had some great radio training, I really did. But the guy was so he just burnt me out on radio. And I remember this. I come in from a sales call, and when I closed the door, there was a whiteboard on the door, and there was words phonetically. And he's like, you're not on the radio. You're on the radio. I'm like, man, that's the way we talk. He's like, you don't own the radio. You're on the radio. I'm like, and www. Who knew? I never worried about people saying www or www. It's www. You know how long I had to pronounce that? I would go down the road, www, because I'd have to do commercials, right, on the radio. It's like, and everybody's got a website now, www. And I'm like, it took forever to get that. So the training was great, the way I got it. I didn't like it, but it was really good. He said, I'm doing this. That way you can go to work anywhere you want on the radio and you won't have an accent. I'm like, I'm not going to work in radio, Jack. This is just, I don't know what I'm doing here. I'm not going anywhere else to go on radio. Lo and behold, what does Jesus do? Gives me a radio station. I don't know about internet radio, never heard about it. Never heard about Christian country 9 years ago. I didn't even know it existed, much less I'm going to be doing anything. And then while I'm there, I started to call him up and say, hey, guess what, Jack? I own the radio. And then God checked my spirit and said, no, you don't. I own the radio. I said, that's right, Jesus, you do. I work for you now. So I'm like, it's been a great journey because Jayc was like the second artist I was able to get a hold of. I'm telling you, I'm calling all these people. I didn't know Christian country been around. I swear they thought I was some guy in my bedroom in my underwear looking for free music. It must have been what they thought. But Jayc was real cool. He talked to me and he sent me his music and we developed a friendship and we've stayed friends, like I said now, for 9 years. That's how long we've been doing this. And I'm really excited, but I'm really grateful to the Triple Cross here because y'all have housed this HTO. And I don't know if y'all know this, but we broadcast the HTO. You know that, but I don't know if y'all know that it goes out to 189 countries now. Yeah, there's only 195 known countries in the world, and we're in 189 of them right now. So the HTO gets heard in 189 countries. I think that's pretty special. So the song Transition of Time, is that what's next? Transition of Time, right? This is, everybody talks about the first miracle Jesus did. And there's all kinds of ways to talk about it. And I always wanted to write a song about it. A lot of people like to use that to drink it. I'm not advocating one way or the other. Well, you first miracle gives you the right. Drink the beer or have your wine just in your time line. But you don't know the true meaning of that miracle in any sense. It wasn't so you could drink or show your ignorance. All the stars said he would say. sure had a wonderful time tonight singing for you. Y'all have been so gracious. I got one more for you. This was not on the CD, but it's in Honky Tonkin Opry style. Again, HLE Radio, download it, it's free on your app. If you haven't done it yet, please do so, because we play all this style of music on it. It's all the good stuff.
Everybody, more than thank you so much for coming out to the Honky Tonk Hungry.